The first step to making kale chips is clipping our kale here. When it comes to clipping kale, we just go ahead and cut the outer leaves, and I cut them all the way down to the stem of the actual plant. So right there. I do that with all of the outside leaves. If you feel like they're too light in color or look kind of stressed, you don't have to use it like this one, but it's optional. I mean, if I don't see too much, I'll use it, but we'll see what we end up with here. Even if I don't plan on using a really distressed leaf or an older leaf, I still go ahead and cut it off. That way the plant is able to focus on all the new growth. And then I usually just leave this amount on the plant so that way it can keep replenishing for me. We can continue to have kale chips. Well, we've got plenty of leaves now to go ahead and make some kale chips. So let's go on inside and I'll show you how I do it. The first thing I do is I go ahead and I wash my kale. So you guys just saw me break off the bottoms. I don't like using the chunky stems in my kale chips. I actually feel like it takes forever for those to dry, which ends up as them drying and then the leaves burning. So I actually pick the leaves off of the stem. So here we go. We just go ahead and pick the leaves from the stem, and you can make them any size you want. I'm just gonna break that in half. I like a little smaller chips. You can keep them as large as you want, but I'm gonna go ahead and break up 3 leaves. And this to me is kind of a little bit of a larger leaf. If you have something even larger, that's fine too, but I like to use the largest ones first, because then that's kind of what my recipe is geared towards. So I got this recipe from my sister Jennifer, but she just told me what to throw in. So I took a lot of time to make sure that I got the measurements just right for you guys, because when I was younger and taught how to cook, my mom never measured anything. So it was just always a toss in, and that's what I always do. So today I took a little extra time to make sure that I measured everything out for you guys. All right, so there we go. We're gonna put these aside. You could go ahead and do them all, but I only have a small pan. I have my pan here, it's ready to be used. It's a non-stick. If you don't have non-stick, you can also use parchment paper. Right now, I am preheating the oven to 275. You can always preheat your oven higher and cook them a little bit higher. They'll get done faster, but I found that when I do that, they cook a little bit more unevenly and get a little bit more of a burnt edging on them. But if you like that may be the route to go for you. All right, so now that I got a good amount of leaves in there, 3 leaves in here, I'm gonna go ahead and start adding some ingredients. And the ingredients fluctuate depending on how much you use, and you can always do it to taste too, but I'm just gonna go ahead and share with you our quick little recipe. I'm gonna go ahead and use 1 teaspoon of olive oil. This measurement is for a half, so I'm just gonna go ahead and add a little bit more. You could always do a little less or use avocado oil or coconut oil, whatever you prefer. You don't need a ton. I'm gonna go ahead and use 1/8 teaspoon of salt. Less is more. So if you're unsure or you don't like things really salty at all, use even half of that. The next thing I'm adding is 1/8 teaspoon of garlic powder. This adds a good flavoring. And then 1/8 teaspoon onion powder. Half teaspoon Worcestershire sauce. I know I say that goofy, but that's just how I've always said it. Worcestershire, whatever. The next thing we're gonna add here is a little bit of Stevia, which is an all-natural sweetener made from a plant. And we're just gonna go ahead and add 1/8 teaspoon of that. So what the sugar does, that's pretty much what it is like a sugar, is it kind of controls that after bite from kale. It mellows out the flavor. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're just gonna go ahead and toss it. And we're gonna mix it up really, really good. I spend a couple minutes just mixing because you really wanna make sure that everything is evenly distributed. All of the seasonings, the salt, the oil, the sauce, everything. And I even kind of push down very lightly because since they're curly leaves, that way they kind of push against each other then in different positions. Oh, sounds like my oven's preheated. All right, now that it is all thoroughly mixed, I'm gonna go ahead and lay it on my pan. I would love to use a bigger pan, but every time I go into that oven, I swear that nobody cleans them after they use them. And when I say them, I mean Jason. But you know, I do it too, but let's just blame Jason for now. So we've got this pan, it's a non-stick. Whether it's non-stick or not and you don't want to get your pan dirty, you can go ahead and use a little bit of parchment paper on there as well. So usually I would like to use a larger pan, but we'll just have to do with this. I'm going to go ahead and lay them on there. And I like to go ahead and spread them out really nice so they're not laying on top of each other. That way they go ahead and they bake and get crispy evenly. If you want to kick up the recipe a little bit more, you can just go ahead and lightly top dress it with a little bit of Parmesan cheese. Or what my sister loves is the ranch packets, so like the little ranch powder. She likes to add just a little bit of a ranch flavoring, but I love just a little crisp of a cheesy flavor. So whatever you want to top it off with, you can. When I add Parmesan cheese onto the kale, I always add on a couple extra minutes because it works the moisture out of the Parmesan. Now that they're spread out evenly, I'm going to go ahead and throw them into the oven. Alright, I set my timer for 10 minutes at 275 degrees. We'll check them then, see how they are, and it usually takes anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes to get them that perfect crispiness that we like. Well, this batch is done, nice and crunchy. It actually took 14 minutes, which is the longest it's ever taken any batch of mine to dry. So I almost think it's just due to the fact I added a little extra of that Parmesan cheese. So, and I think because of adding that Parmesan cheese, it kind of stuck a little bit, and you could just let the pan cool off a little bit. But what I did is I laid down some parchment paper right here, and that's what I'm kind of laying them on right now. So this leaf here was underneath another one, so this isn't even done, but I'm just gonna put it aside. All right, and then I just kind of let them cool there, and then we'll go ahead and try them. Who am I kidding? I can't wait. I gotta try these. So I always go for the darkest one. I love them super crunchy. Very good. In this batch, you probably could have used just a little less salt. Yeah, but they're not too salty. They're fine. But if you're not a big salt person, I'd go half of that 1/8 teaspoon. So good. You guys, I've been eating so many bad chips lately to where this is exactly what I needed. This will help me get healthier. Kale is one of the healthiest things you can eat. So I'm gonna let you guys go so I can enjoy these. And I'm gonna have to make another batch. So when Jason and the kiddos get home, they'll be able to try some. so much for watching and joining us in our kitchen today. Feel free to subscribe and don't forget to click that bell so you don't miss any future videos.